K-beauty products have already captivated women around the globe. But now the K-beauty phenomenon has gone beyond skincare or cosmetics to provide a holistic approach to feminine care. At the center of this movement is Rael, a fast-growing startup in the U.S. that was launched in 2017 by 3 Korean-American entrepreneurs. Within 3 years, Rael products ranked #1 in Amazon's organic feminine care products, and in 2022, Rael secured a $35 million funding to further fuel its growth. Our globalist today is one of the 3 founders, Baek-yang-hee. She talks about her path to success and how she plans to revolutionize the industry's approach to feminine well-being.
And I think the bigger problem was, as a woman, I never questioned what these products were made of, and none of my friends ever cared too. So
welcome to the Globalist.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Really glad that we took the time. So I hear that you actually are based in LA in the US.
Yep.
And so you're only here for a business trip. How many times do you come to Korea?
I try to make it every 6 months, so
6
twice
months.
a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So reading your story, before I met you, you have such a fascinating background. But also listening to you talk about your leap into the feminine industry, you talk about yourself as an accidental entrepreneur.
Yes, yeah.
So why? What is that about?
So before starting Rael, I was actually a movie distributor at the Walt Disney Studios for a long time. I moved to the States from Korea 17 years ago to go to business school. And my passion back then was actually in Hollywood and entertainment. So on my MBA application, I wrote about how I wanted to go to Harvard MBA and then settle in LA and then work in Hollywood and eventually come back to Korea to revolutionize Korean entertainment industry.
Yeah.
So that was my dream and passion back in my 20s. And then that kind of actually came to realization. So I did consulting for 2 years after MBA and joined the strategy team at the Walt Disney Studios.
Now that is the dream job of anyone who wants to be in the entertainment industry,
Yes,
right?
yeah, it was a dream come true.
Yeah.
I only dreamed about it as a young kid in Korea, just like thinking about Hollywood. And that became a reality. And then I worked at Walt Disney Studios for about 7.5 years. So that was a long time focused on entertainment movie distribution. But life is so interesting and full of surprises, I would say. I thought I would come back to Korea to do something around Korean entertainment, but this is 7 years ago, so
Yes.
it was not as easy to find my career path, what I could do as a business person. So I was soul searching, just thinking about my next steps. And then one day I met my co-founders and my life completely changed.
So your co-founder, who you had not known before, came to you as a journalist. And so what happened?
So she found me through some interview that I did with a Korean newspaper. And my co-founder, Anes, she's actually a best-selling author in Korea. She lives in the US, but she's written in Korean. And she actually has written about woman empowerment, female leadership stories. And one day she reached out to me saying, like, your story is really interesting. I want to get to know you. We're both Korean Americans living in LA.
But this is you as a Disney executive,
Yes, yeah. So she wanted to learn about my background as a studio executive and how I moved to the US from Korea and all of that. So we met up one night, had a nice dinner, and then after a really nice chat, she asked me whether I knew anything about the ingredients in the conventional pads and tampons, or the pads and tampons that we were using. And I was like, oh, never thought about it in my life, although I have used these products for so many years, every month, in my life. And I just kind of answered like, oh, must be natural cotton, natural ingredients. We're putting that into our bodies.
Paper, you know.
Yeah. I just assumed that these were all natural ingredients. And unfortunately, she told me that a lot of these products are made with synthetic, plastic ingredients, and she's been trying to find more natural, organic solutions, which were very difficult to find in the US. And then we started talking about our experience as a Korean immigrant to the US. Like one of the first things that we noticed was lack of high quality feminine care products in the US. And it's funny, every time we come to Korea to visit our families, we would buy a bunch of Korean pads in addition to
I thought I was the
products.
only one doing that, but it's common for a lot of.
Yeah, it is.
Korean
Yeah, we
Americans.
haven't talked about it as much, but when we brought it up to some Korean Americans or Korean students, they're all like, "Yeah, that's one of the things I buy from
Really?
Korea when I visit." So it was clear that there was something very special about the manufacturing technology in Korea that American consumers did not know about. So we thought that if we married organic cotton and then brought the Korean manufacturing technology, then that could be a game changer.
I mean, it's a fascinating thing to sort of grasp onto and think about doing. But thinking about it and talking about it and actually doing it, is a different thing. And you were a executive at your dream job. So how do you make a leap from that full-time Disney job to tampons?
Was not easy. I took some time to do my research and talking to some industry experts and then figuring out, how big an opportunity this would be. But what was clear was, this was one industry that has not been really touched, by any startup companies or any disruptors. Because if you think about it, especially in the US, the industry is dominated by just like a couple of big established
Very
companies.
big, yeah.
And nobody dared to challenge them. And there have not been that many innovations or disruptions in the past decades. So we felt like it's like a blue ocean, we have to get into it, and with the technology that we know from Korea, we can do something that nobody can do. And for me, because I was so passionate about Korean wave, like Hallyu, because
You were in the entertainment
yes,
industry.
yeah. So what I wanted to do was really leveraging my heritage from Korea to do something that's impactful. And I felt like bringing that technology and feminine care to the US was also part of Hallyu and Korean wave. I'm leveraging my heritage to do something that only Korean women can do in the US. So it was kind of like aligned with the value and the vision that I had for my career, although it was not entertainment per se.
So the Korean Hallyu, the culture boom, did help you in launching your new career.
Yeah, especially Kbeauty, everybody knew how advanced Kbeauty, how picky Korean women are. So by, bringing this made in Korea pads, launching in the US market, I think it was easy to explain to consumers and also buyers, editors that this is a very high quality product, very innovative, and we're using very cutting edge technology to make them.
But ultimately, your consumers, your customers have to make that judgment. You launched on Amazon
Yes.
first, right?
Yeah.
So what was their reaction?
So when we first launched on Amazon, we didn't have much capital, so we relied on just like nice content that we created on Amazon and then some ads that we were running. But what helped us was, back then it was not as competitive as it is now. So we had handful competitors making organic pads on Amazon, and none of them really had good reviews. Customers were complaining about the lack of performance and comfort.
really?
So people choose healthy, organic, natural option, but then once they try, they're disappointed by the performance and comfort of these products. So what we really focused was, making very functional products that are made with clean ingredients. And then we launched our product. And then we started getting 5-star reviews left and right. Those who gave us a chance, try our product, even though they never heard of Rael before, they were surprised, very impressed by the performance and the clean ingredient that we married together. So that was kind of the secret of our success at the very beginning.
Wow. Because it's a very loyalty-based market. I mean, once you decide on a brand, it's not easy to change brands.
No. And Amazon, as a e-com platform, it's interesting that consumers on Amazon are, I think, more like explorer. They give a chance to brands which are not as popular or mainstream. So it worked really well that we had really nice content, beautiful name, branding, and people gave us a chance and started leaving really nice reviews after they tried our products.
Now, so you have this idea. You're based in the U.S., but you decide to manufacture in Korea because of the whole Korea aspect of it. But you also decide to launch in Korea, too.
Yes, yeah.
So what was behind that decision?
To be honest, when we first launched in the US, this was not part of the plan because we were a small company, startup company. We needed a lot of capital to expand internationally, obviously. But then shortly after we launched our organic cotton pads in the US, there was a big scandal that happened in Korea regarding some of the pads here. And I think there were some feminist groups, who did the study of the ingredients, and there were a lot of customers who complained about the synthetic plastic ingredients in some pads.
Yeah, that was like the first very big realization that it was not an all-natural product.
Exactly. So there was a big media coverage about this issue. So suddenly, all these Korean women were looking for organic, natural period care options. And what was really interesting was they came to Amazon looking for the best-selling organic cotton pads in the US and then started buying our products from the US and shipping back to Korea.
Wow.
So we're like, oh, this is our market. This is our mother country. These are our people buying the products from the US, shipping back to Korea. So we started thinking about how we serve our own country. And we manufacture in Korea, so it was somewhat easy to launch here, in Korea. And my co-founder, Pinna, had to sacrifice herself and move back to Korea to open
be based
the Korea
in
office.
Korea. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
How is the market? I mean, it must be cutthroat in Korea.
It is. I would say it's very different from the US in that we don't have those big brands here in Korea. It's a bit of a more like an open market, very diversified. So there are a lot of smaller brands, competing with each other. Where in the US, it's just dominated by the big brands, and small companies have very niche positioning, in the US. And the biggest difference I would say is in the US, we're still doing a lot of education around why organic, why natural, because there has not been any big scandal that covered the ingredient story of feminine care. In Korea, there was education done already, for us. So we just had to jump in, provide the products, and then, show how good quality our products are. And Korean consumers, thankfully, gave us a lot of, I think, love because we are also, Korean American brand, who succeeded in the U.S. and came to Korea to serve the mother country. So our story around the founders, I think, also helped us a lot in Korea.
So overall, in the market, global market, the U.S. and Korea are your two main markets. Are both growing at a similar pace, or how do you see the future of the markets in both?
I think they're growing, both growing pretty similarly, because like that percentage is kind of like similar for a few years. But in the US, we also expanded into skincare and other categories. So we're a lot more diversified company in the US, really hoping to be more like holistic wellness brand. And in Korea, we made a step into supplements, but we're still more known as a pad company. So the position is a little different. Yeah, so we have a plan to actually get to the same level of being holistic provider of wellness.
Frankie is my middle name.
I glow,
And I know it. I'm a wild card like my skin.
I break out and freak out.
So you talk about the holistic cycle care. What is that?
So when we first launched our organic cotton covered pads, we only focused on period care options, and after pads, we launched tampons and we launched reusable, sustainable products. But then we stepped back and thought hard about what kind of brand that we want to build and how we wanted to evolve. It was very clear that, we wanted to take care of women throughout the 4 phases of the cycle. So not only for that 1 week when women are bleeding and menstruating, but throughout the 4 weeks of the cycle.
So the whole month of the menstrual cycle,
Yes,
as we call it.
yeah. So if you go a little deeper, it's the first week is called menstrual cycle, and the next cycle is follicular, and then you ovulate, and then there's ovulatory cycle, and then the last cycle will be luteal cycle when you deal with a lot of PMS symptoms. So we talk a lot about these 4 different phases of hormonal cycle, and then want to provide solutions and clean, solutions to our customers throughout the 4 weeks of these cycles.
It sounds like you have focused a lot on the medical, the scientific side of a woman's body and how it changes every month.
Yeah, it's funny because I used to hate my periods when I was younger, and then
Everyone hates their period. I don't.
which we're trying to change, though.
Really?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, because we want to celebrate.
Good luck to you.
We want to celebrate, period. It's supposed to be natural, something that we should be happy about. But personally, I dealt with a lot of hormonal acne and breakouts. So I hope that a lot of women can relate to this story. But, like 2-3 days before your period starts, you deal with all these like acne coming out and breakouts on your skin. And I was very curious why it always happens, right before my periods. And there's a whole science behind, your hormonal changes, how that impacts your skin. And that's why we wanted to get into skincare to talk about hormonal acne, hormonal breakouts, and the different routines you can adopt, to take care of your skin depending on the different cycle that you're in. So it's a very interesting story that not many women actually know about. So
It is.
we're sort of like
yeah.
a pioneer in educating the consumers about the holistic cycle care.
I saw your attempt at educating the young people, especially on TikTok. Rael Cycle House
Yes,
campaign.
yeah.
So what is that?
So about a year ago, so we're really keen on TikTok. In the US, TikTok has become like the primary channel for marketing. And we've partnered with 4 influencers on TikTok to talk about how these different cycles, play out. And one influencer is called menstrual cycle, menstrual. And then the other one is follicular and ovulatory, and then luteal cycle. And each one of them has their own characters and
So
personalities.
you give them a character.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah. So, like the menstrual cycle could be a little cranky because of all the cramping that she's dealing with, and the PMS cycle also not happy with her breakouts.
What's wrong? You know that guy I met at the club last night? Yeah. He wants to go out later. Okay. But I can't because I woke up with this. A huge zit popped up because I fell asleep in my makeup.
So I don't really get pimples, but I heard these are really good for faces like you.
So we had these different characters playing out and just kind of like making jokes and then showing different products they can use from Rael to take care of their, different problems they deal with because of the hormonal changes. And it was really fun. We had 4 different episodes, and it was like girls' night out, and it kind of featured our products in a very organic way.
Yeah, and in a very simple way, so that people can understand what you're talking about and how it's going to influence their bodies.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Great. So this is one attempt at you sort of trying to educate and get people to understand more about women, about their bodies.
Yes.
But I understand that you're also involved in other campaigns in the U.S., like the Tampon Tax Coalition. So what is that about?
So it's a very exciting initiative that we launched in October last year. So 8 startup brands, mainly female-founded startup brands in the U.S. in feminine care, we got together to raise awareness of the tampon tax issue in the U.S.
Tampon tax issue.
Yes, so what's happening in the U.S. is that out of the 50 states, 21 states are still charging sales taxes on pads and tampons, which are essential items. And usually essential items are tax-free in the state. So in California, I don't pay any tax on pads and tampons, but there are some states still charging taxes, kind of treating pads and tampons like luxury items.
Compared to what Well, what are the other essentials?
So, for example,
Yeah.
like chapsticks, is essential because it treats like lip.
Really?
Yeah. And then some products for men, like hair loss, those products are also considered essential items. So if you look at kind of like women items and then like men personal care items, there are a lot more men personal care items that are essential, considered essential and tax-free. And then women tend to pay more taxes, because of some of the personal care items not being treated essential in the U.S. And not many people actually know this issue in the U.S. And then consumers in those states are actually paying taxes without even knowing that they should have not been actually paying these taxes. So what we wanted to do as brands was, launch a website, universal website, and these customers who pay taxes on these products can come to the website, ask for a refund, and the brand will refund the taxes they pay, to the retailers.
So the private companies that making these feminine products are offering their own money
Yes.
as a payback
Yeah,
to these.
yeah. So it's kind of like an incentive, for people to just pay attention to the taxes they pay in those states. But, obviously it's a little more than just, financial support that these brands are doing. We want to raise a voice that it's really unfair, to charge taxes, on feminine care products. They're supposed to be considered essential items. And then periods are natural. It's a natural part of women's wellness and the well-being, and the lawmakers should recognize that. And I'm sure a lot of lawmakers are men, who
Yes.
do not understand these issues.
People that probably put this in the non-essential category
Yes.
were men.
Yeah, that's our assumption, right? So we're raising our, voices as female founders in this industry, and thankfully we got a lot of great media responses, and that has been, a great initiative, for us.
But like this movement, I mean, your approach to your products and the women that use those products seem to be looking at a bigger picture than just one product or one use for your product. Is there an impact that you want to make on women overall?
So personally, and also as a brand at Rael, we care a lot about educating women. I believe that knowing is empowerment. The more you know, the better choices that you can make. And I sort of regret as a woman, I should have known all these healthcare related issues or self-care routines better, from a young age. And I feel like when I was younger, I was just so ignorant and then did not know much about what my bodies go through and then how hormonal changes are affecting my bodies. So what we want to do is actually educating consumers about what they go through in each cycle and then how their bodies will change as they age and get older, and the different self-care routines, they can adopt. So it's not just about, selling pads for us, but we want people to understand different choices they can make to improve their lifestyle and well-being. And there are different foods they can start eating to make their lifestyle better. Different exercises they can adopt. Mental health exercises they can also adopt. And obviously we have also skincare. We're getting into supplements, so different products they can also adopt too. But it's more about educating consumers to understand what kind of options there are in the market, so they can make better choices and improve their lifestyle.
Your long-term vision seemed to have really caught the imagination of people. Over a year ago, secured a $35 million funding.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Thank you
by the
so
way.
much. Yeah.
And this will allow you to expand and really do more. What do you plan to do?
So we're still on our journey, to become a holistic wellness brand for women. We had, luckily, great success with our organic cotton cover pads, and also making a great progress in skincare in the U.S. And hot off the press, we're launching new supplements this month in the U.S. So
really?
Yeah. So we're actually probably one of the very first brands in playing in multiple categories. Yeah. Because usually brands focus on just one category and want to win there, and we're taking a very progressive approach of with this one brand, we're playing in multiple categories. And once we build a relationship and trust with our customers, we want to provide more products and more options, for them to build their self-care routine. So we have a big ambition, to become a household brand that can be recognized, globally. And, we're focused on the US and the Korean markets at the moment, but I think we have also other markets that we can enter in the future. So we'd love to become a global personal care brand that women love and then recognize and trust.
Wow. So this accidental entrepreneur has big dreams of being a big, major business person. Well, I don't want to say businesswoman, but business person. Business person. Well, best of luck, and I hope that you come and visit us again when you have reached the next level of your entrepreneurship or your business ventures.
I wish I can come back soon.
Looking forward to it.
Thank you.
And that's it for me. I will be back next week with another globalist who's putting Korea on the map. Sun Jie out.